Yes, sir. Team No Sleep in the building.
None at all. No
Bro,
those.
bro, I
No
forgot.
those in the
I
house.
almost forgot to bring us on camera. I was in the back vibing to the intro again.
There we go, man. There we
I
go.
was forgot to bring us on camera, man. God,
Yeah,
dang it.
I was hitting the
That's how you bring
no
it. That's how you
chill.
bring that energy, though, brother. What Montell? What's happening now? It's what's it?
Man.
Sunday.
Sunday, man, we're doing good. It's the 17th. We
Yes, sir.
blessed again. Do another weekend, man. We're blessed to have sports again.
One more again.
Um, blessed to have, these playoffs kicking off, entertaining everybody. I'm happy, the one downer, we got the Let Them Play movement in California with the high school sports. Big shout out to them, but we got to keep it moving, man, with the professional stuff. And as long as we stay entertained and stay focused, we're going to be all right.
Look at you. You just wrapped up everything right there in like 5 minutes. You done told you done told the last show, this show, and what we doing next week. But
Yeah,
tell me something. Let's talk about you, man. I understand special day today, brother. Let's give some congratulations and some happy birthday shouts out to the youngster in the house
oh,
first and
yeah, man.
foremost. We
Yeah,
want to
my young queen, Sydney Morgan Allen. There's her birthday today, 13.
yeah.
My other little queen, Alina Allen. Her birthday was last week on the 17th, and I mean on the 7th. And then my daughter's Jordan's birthday is coming up the first week of February, man. So all my three daughters is their birthday coming up. So I'm blessed, very
Love
blessed,
it,
man.
love it, and I like that name, George. You know that was my firstborn too. So my daughter is a Jordan. Named her after Michael. Named her after the
Yeah,
greatest player of all time.
yep.
Didn't matter. If it was going to be a boy or a girl. The first one coming out was going to be named Jordan. So
Was gonna be
that's
the
how we
goat,
did.
huh? Straight out the bat.
Does she
First
know?
one naming it to go. Yeah, there
Yes,
you go.
sir.
Yeah,
She know. Let's
absolutely,
see.
man.
You off tomorrow? You know, a little
Oh
holiday.
yeah,
Let's
man.
talk
Yeah,
about
man.
that.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah,
let's
man.
shout out to Doctor Martin Luther the King.
Yeah, Dr. King, man, in the movement, and just the civil rights, just paying much respect to what the wave that he's paved.
Yeah,
The way he paid for us, the way he paid for us to even have stuff like this, to be online, to be able to speak our opinions and talk our talk.
exactly.
I just think again, man, we blessed. And we always want to look at the negative things and things can get better, or the glass half empty, half full.
Right.
Right now, it's time to look at it half full, and be praised for his accomplishments he did, because he paved the way for a lot of us to be able to do some things. Him and brother Malcolm, obviously,
That's true. That's yeah.
Martin was the man. So, man, I wish we had more like him. One that's why he's a one of a kind.
Yeah.
So that's why
Yeah.
we celebrate. That's why we celebrate him on today,
That's true.
on
That's
tomorrow.
true. I think each and every one of us, irregardless of race, religion, creed, need to step up to the plate and do our own thing as well. And I surround myself with folks that are doing that, trying to, as my old boss used to say, make a dent in the universe. Right. That's all
Yep.
we're trying to do. So and I count you in that crew there, brother. You're doing some big things, and we just trying to come here, entertain, enlighten, and educate. That's one
Yep.
of the mantras of what we do. Football is happening right now, like we are, like you said at the beginning, pro football.
Hmm.
I know folks right now got one eye probably on the game and one eye on us, hopefully, because there's a lot of activity going on right now. But uh, I'm just gonna put it on out there because I know you was probably gonna tease your boy. Uh, I know you was thinking about teasing your boy because Tomlin, Ben, all of them, everybody that lived in Pittsburgh, we all kind of disappointed right now. It just didn't go the way we wanted it to go. So
I mean, I wasn't gonna say nothing, but since you brought it
man,
on, no, I'm not gonna say
it was
nothing.
heavy on my heart, so I had to say so.
Yeah.
I can't, it's like
I mean, I think at some point with Pittsburgh, my observation was, they went 10-0, and when they got to that 11-game mark, something changed, and I'm not quite sure what it was in their whole team philosophy or their system. Obviously the competition got a little bit better, but if at some point they stopped responding to Tomlin, and on top of that, Ben was playing bad. So
yeah,
that right there is a losing combination. Period. No matter in any profession, if you start quarterback and if the team is not listening to the head coach, and the quarterback is playing bad, it's really hard for everybody to get on the same page and win. I think that's a part of Pittsburgh. I'm not quite sure what's in line for Pittsburgh. I mean, Tomlin's been there for a while. I know he's successful getting them to the playoffs, but it seems like over the last couple of years, it's having a harder and harder time getting them over the hump.
yeah,
Also, I attribute injuries to that. Obviously, that's a part of football. A lot of injuries has happened to him, especially the key players coming down the stretch. But I do see Ben's decline in play.
Yeah,
You know,
I agree. I mean,
it's
he's been there, done that, and it didn't seem like himself, Big Ben of old out there
mhm.
on the field. But I don't know if he's done, man. I don't. Again, you got the rings, and you got the history already of what you've done. I just can't see someone of his caliber or what his caliber used to be going out the way that they went out this season. You got.
I mean, I can see pride setting in, but also I can see, man,
That's the thing. See,
sometimes,
that's what I'm talking
yeah,
about. I think
yeah,
it's the
yeah,
pride thing. He
yeah.
can't just step away, right?
I mean, he may not want to step away, but I think it's starting to dictate his game. He's going to have to, and I know he's not going to take a backup role. I don't see Ben
True.
being a mentor role. So I'm going to take a backup. I think he'll, remove himself from the game before that happens. But I believe at this point in this stage of his career, his skills are starting to diminish. It's starting to slow. The ball doesn't come out with as much zip as it does all the time. He's not read. The defenses are starting to move a little bit faster than they were before because the game is not as slow as it was for him anymore, and he's still taking hits. I mean, all that attribute coming together, and you just start losing. The one tackle you can't avoid is Father Time. No, Father Time makes a tackle on everybody in the NFL.
Ooh, listen
So
at you. You dropped probably some
think
gems on him right there.
I just believe caught up to him. I think if Ben was to come back another year, I think they'll probably have to. I think Pittsburgh will even do worse because I think I figured out the code. If the running game is not working smooth, leave it in the Big Ben's hands. And right now, I don't think he has the confidence, nor does the team have the confidence that he will win and pull the game out in the end. Before 5 years, 6, 7 years ago, Ben got the ball in the last 2 minutes. You're like, Pittsburgh gonna make a move.
Yeah.
They can come back. I don't think that same confidence is within the team no more that he can be able to make the throw, like the plays that he could before. Let's be real, man. He has two great receivers, Juju Smith and the young brother that's from out of University of Pitt. I forgot his name, but they are dying.
Yeah.
I think they're one of the best up and coming duels coming up. He has a fairly decent run game. It's Ben. It's not everybody else. Everybody else is doing their job. It's Ben that's not making the right decisions at the point. So I just think he needs to take a step back, review his career to see if he really wants to come back and play, and does he want to compete. And then Tomlin needs to make that assessment. Is Ben the guy I want to be able to bring back and ready to go, or do we
that's true.
or to move forward and get them a young quarterback either in the draft or acquire a young quarterback in the trade them to take the step to go forward.
Yeah, because you're right. Juju Smith, he's not out there dancing on people's logos anymore after the embarrassment. But I think you're probably talking about Claypool, Chase Claypool. That's a bad man, right? So I think the team is getting
Claypool,
younger.
Exactly. I think a wonderful receiver.
Younger for Pittsburgh, but who is still
and Ben's getting older. That's the thing.
Yeah, but so I'm gonna tell you who's still throwing that ball at a relatively seasoned age. That Aaron Rodgers. He still got it going. I think he's from what I saw from him the other day, I think he's playing some of the best ball that he's ever played. He's still got that little fling of being able to get that ball out there, moving quick in the pocket, seeing the entire field. He's just got a different level of IQ about what's going on in the game. So I like watching Aaron Rodgers play.
Aaron Rodgers right now is probably playing the best ball he's ever played in his career. Mm-hmm. I mean, the game still continues to slow down for him, which is amazing. The talent he has, Montell is better. In the last, he's arguably one of the best receivers playing Aaron all of a sudden. Yeah. Where before, he wasn't even on the map. And Aaron's been able to do that throughout his career from the guys all the way now to Mr. Adams. Aaron is playing at a super high level. I don't think he's going anywhere.
He's not going anywhere. He's gonna keep playing right there in Lambeau until he gets another ring or two. So
I don't see. And I think Green Bay has a good shot going to the Super Bowl this year. To be honest with you,
definitely.
Especially if you got to go through Green Bay. If you got to go through Green Bay, it's going to be tough to beat.
And it's going to be cold because they got to go back and play one more time at least. So it's going to be cold. Let's talk about the other side of that, right? So Buffalo, good Lord, Buffalo then came out and took down Brother Jackson. Took down Lamar. But the Ravens will be back. I mean, they still are a hard hitting team. They still got a lot of speed, and Lamar out there doing his thing. But man, I'm impressed with the Buffalo Bills coming through and actually doing something this season because everyone, look, we always make fun of them. Yeah, come on, you laugh at them because they had some terrible seasons, but that Josh Allen's got a rocket on his arm, man, and he can throw that ball. So
I think Buffalo's done some exciting things with Josh. The receiver. Damn, I forgot his name, man. I'm slipping right now. I've been drinking a little bit too much for my daughter's birthday.
You started early, brother. I'm drinking coffee, man. Yeah. You started early. Well, it's your kid's birthday.
Yeah, Stephon. Yes, Stephon's. Diggs is like, man, probably the best receiver. Or I'll go out and he is the best possession receiver in the league. Hands down. Guys, he's amazing. And I think I give Buffalo all the credit in the world. Don't get me wrong. Buffalo did their thing. But I also believe that if Lamar Jackson doesn't change his game or add being a pocket passer to his game, he will continue to leave out of the lead in the first or second round in the playoffs. Because it's when you give defensive coordinators at that level a week or two to prepare for him, they're figuring out what his weaknesses are, and he's not able to overcome them. I hate to say it. I mean, I know he got hit with the concussion, but the backup quarterback looked better than him during the game.
Who are you talking about? You talking about Lamar? You talking about Did you already?
Lamar, no, in the Ravens, Hudley wasn't Hudley.
Yeah, no, that's right. No,
he looked sharper and better than Lamar did before Lamar went out with the hit.
True.
So, I think Lamar needs to add more dimensions to his game. I think he's the best athlete in the NFL, but he's not the best quarterback in the NFL.
That's a good point. That's a good differentiation there to make. Yeah. You started talking about concussions because I was thinking about your boy Mahomes. Who
Mahomes, man. I mean, in Mahomes, to Kansas City's credit, Chad Henne was able to come in the game, get over the win. But again, they got this win. Mahomes, they had the lead. They got this win. But going into next week, if Mahomes is not back and and defensive coordinators get to play against Chad Henne, Buffalo's going to get to play against Chad Henne.
Man,
I think Buffalo might be able to write their ticket to the Super Bowl. Because Chad Henne, you got to think when you're in the game, when you're in that kind of level, you game plan for a certain quarterback. You're game planning for what they do with that quarterback.
True.
And you always notice in the NFL, once a quarterback changes out, I don't care if it's, with the 49ers, they change. If you're preparing for Garoppolo and then they bring another quarterback in, you always see the offense get another spark and kind of things different because things start to change. The dynamic changes with the game with a different quarterback.
Timing is off. Being more false starts right at the beginning or right when they had that switch because
or they call different plays because the quarterback's able to do the same things the other quarterback does. So the plays that you're used to looking at are on 3rd and 7 that they would normally do. Now they got to do something different, so it throws your whole game plan off as a defense.
That's true.
I think now Buffalo has a week to play for plan for Chad Henne. It's going to be a different game. Chad is not going to look that great like he did today. He looked great today coming in as a backup and saving the day. I'm telling you right now, a week planning, he ain't gonna look all that good.
Yeah, if he has to start against the Bills, Bills Mafia coming out there. But we do hope Mahomes is better. But you almost assumed that, and I apologize to my Cleveland Browns fans. We almost kind of assumed that Kansas City was going to pull the game out today against the Browns. But look, Mayfield did his thing. He was out there. He tried to pull another one out the hat for the Cleveland for the dog pound. But
Cleveland has nothing to be ashamed of.
No,
Cleveland is that team. They're right there on the crust of jumping over. And I hate to say it, I think they leapfrogged your boys, Pittsburgh Steelers, now is who's going to be dominating that conference.
Yeah. I agree with it. I don't want to hear it though, but they sometimes you don't want to hear the truth. You just want to tell me a little white lie.
Yeah. I mean that, and if OJ Beckham decides to come back and healthy, that adds another dimension to their game. The running game, they have the best 1-2 punch at the running game. I think in the draft this year in the draft, they're only going to get better, adding some more elements to their defense and to their offensive line. Their tight end is an all pro. I mean, Cleveland is on their own point to be there in the next, I know the window's small, but they look like they're going to be competitive for the next 4 or 5 years.
They should
be in that position to be able to play at that high level.
I think players in place. Yeah.
Yeah, I think they're ready. I think that you come to this game next year with Cleveland a little bit stronger, a little more, a little more swag on them, a little more experience. We'll see. It won't be. Hey, they barely play. I think it's gonna be like no one will be surprised if Cleveland beats them. That would be the title of the
they won't be
conversation.
kind of the laughing stock, right? They won't be the Miamis or the New York Jets. They won't be
Yeah,
them. They'll actually have a little clout, especially
yeah,
for getting this far in the season. So
exactly. And I think the only thing that's gonna hold them back is injuries. As long as they can stay healthy, they'll be perfectly fine.
that's true. That's true. Well, right now we tied up. It's a brand new ball game, 20-20. Tampa Bay
Man,
against New Orleans. 13 minutes 46 in the fourth. So
can you imagine? I mean, this brother Tom Brady is playing at the age of what is it, 43,
I told you
43,
last week, he
42?
85 years old. I told you he
Man,
85 years old, man.
that dude, and he's definitely solved the Da Vinci Code on the age thing playing in the
Yeah,
game because he's
bad
he's
man.
still playing at a high level.
He's a bad man.
Tom Brady, in my opinion, is probably he's either one or two of the greatest quarterbacks to ever play in the game with his success. I know he's a system quarterback, being in Belichick's system. He had a lot of the success in, but he's showing that he can go outside and still have success at an older age, and be very effective. Be very not only effective, be very very dominant, and to be able to still lead these young guys. I don't think people realize how hard it is for an older person to lead a lot of these young guys. These young guys got a lot of egos. They don't like to listen. But for some reason, they really respect him and they crowd around him. And now look at them playing right now. They're one game away from being in the NFC Championship, and 2 games away from being in the Super Bowl.
That's true. Let me pivot on that a little bit because the statement that you just made, and again, you work with the youth a lot, right? In terms of high school football and college football. How is that dynamic, right? When you bring in a coach, you bring in someone that's seasoned and try to sit down and chop it up with these young cats, are you seeing the level of respect? Are they listening when you bring in an outside resource who's been there, done that, who's got some hardware, who knows the game inside and out? Are the young cats saying that, no, don't worry about me, just somebody need to give me a shoe deal? Don't they know me already? Or what's the conversation?
I think let me speak from I'll speak from where I came from, and then I can kind of speak what I've seen. I know when we had a coaching change when I was playing football, and I was resistant. Period. I wanted my old coach back. I love my old coach. We had a new guy coming with a new philosophy that had a tradition of a winning record when he took over the head coaching job at Humboldt, Mr. Fred Whitmire. And I was very disrespectful to him. I was a starter. What he was saying, he came from a philosophy that was very different from our old coach. Our old coach was super aggressive, no holds barred. We take no prisoners. He came with a different philosophy, and I didn't want to hear it. I didn't want to hear it. Didn't care about hearing it. I wanted to continue to be dominant the way we were, and we were still successful with him. It's just I wasn't on the same page as him, and I look back at it, and I was wrong, 100% wrong. And I think same thing when I see with younger kids, or especially in the collegiate world, when you have a older person come and take in, or a new person take the reins, you see resistance in certain people. They just don't want to. They don't either want to change from what was there before, or they just don't want to vibe with the person. They don't want to accept it. They don't want to accept change. It's a human nature. You hate to accept change. And I think it just takes effect in there. Now, can it coexist and be successful? I think it can, but also it's also a difficult coexistence. It's a challenging coexistence. You always gotta kind of fight for your territory, or fight for your right, or fight for your voice. And it's all, like I said, it all settles in the end of the day when the dust settles. Winning trumps everything, especially in sports. If you're winning, people don't care. It kind of just it goes away. We'll just deal with it. We'll deal with it in the back fan. It only comes to surface when you're losing.
No, that's true. And again, I think about it as well too. You got a whole different class or personality of folks. So football, you got these alpha personalities, and again, everyone swears they're the shutdown corner. Everyone swears they're the wide out who can go and make 20 extra yards after the catch, that kind of thing. They're the best QB out there. They can see defenses and run, do all that. But so when you got all those A personalities, and you got all of this competitive nature, I mean, you want that spirit, and you want that passion of every time you go out there and hit the field, hit the diamond, hit the court, whatever the case may be. But man, you got to listen too, because come on, kids, and come on, folks. There's been folks that have been there before you who can actually give you a little bit of knowledge, right? Listen to these folks.
I think the what separates the good from the great, there are two things. It's the work you do outside your craft, the working out and the preparation to get there, and then also, like you said, there's a second aspect, the listening and the knowledge. LeBron doesn't become LeBron unless he listens to Michael Jordan, what advice they gave him coming into the league. He doesn't get that when he doesn't listen to veterans. As great as an athlete as he is, and LeBron's the king, supposed to be the king. He's not LeBron James unless he's listened to the Kobe Bryants when Kobe gave him advice. When he missed that game-winning shot and somebody says he's going to be all right, pats him on the back. Look, I've been there before. You're going to be fine. Keep shooting it.
Yeah.
Those are all lessons learned that you have to do along with preparation, along with your skill set. Those make you great. Now, the ones that are good, they're just on the field and they're good, but they don't either prepare as hard or they don't like to listen. It's only two things that separate from being good and great.
I agree with that. I'm trying to figure out the flow of the show here, but we're going into a certain direction, and I like where we're going because I got the table of contents, or I got the agenda here, but I'm switching it up as that's why I'm on the little screen right now. But
we good.
But the things that you're talking about right there, I guess, have me questioning and asking about Harden, right? So James Harden, crying, begging, upset, pouting in the Houston Rockets locker room, talking about I'm too good for y'all. That was his last interview, right? When they got beat by the Lakers, he said, we're just not good enough. I want to get out of here. This is not where I need to be. I want to go to Brooklyn.
Yep.
Okay. Next thing you know, multi-million-dollar deal, all kinds of first-round draft picks, all kind of concessions. He's over there now. He's in Brooklyn. He's back with
KD.
KD, right? They've got good history. And they got your boy Kyrie, who don't know how to stay home when it's not.
The Kanye West of the NBA. I call him the Kanye West of the NBA.
Kyrie just need to sit down, man. You can't be going. I love you. I know you love your family, and I know you want to go spend time with your sister on her birthday, but you're not supposed to be going out to these parties and disobeying COVID protocol. That's why you're not playing right now. But
that brother, he's bipolar or something. He got his own agenda. Like I said, he's the Kanye West of the NBA.
Man, so he got things that he need to deal with too. Right?
Yeah.
But talk to us a little bit about your thoughts on that again, right? So someone like Harden,
I think
that got that big ego, that big personality. First thing he said when he got to Brooklyn, I'm elite defender, I'm an elite shooter, I'm this and this. We've seen you play. We know you can do some things, but how do you think that resonates when he walks into that locker room?
I think to be honest with you, that humbles him going to New Jersey, because now I have to compete to be the best player on the court or the best player on my team because you have KD and Kyrie there. So that humbles that kind of conversation. But he also can show what he can add because the skill set is very, very good and very high. I think let's go back to the beginning of the conversation, like him wanting to be traded from Houston and wanting to leave. I believe there's always three stories. Harden stories, Houston story, then the truth. I believe, why would you want a player that's unhappy with to be with the organization to even play for you, regardless? Because he's not going to give you his 100% ever. So I think he said a lot of things and did a lot of things to get himself out of that situation because he never long wanted to be there. Granted, I know he signed the contract and doing all that, but in today's age, if you're not happy or whatever, they feel that you should have the opportunity to change your jobs and go where you want to. That's a debatable. That's a whole different conversation whether you want to debate that or not. I think that he was saying anything and doing anything to get himself out of the organization. Whether did he really mean that or not, saying they weren't good. And they're all professional athletes, so they're all good. Right. I mean, I think it was just a slap in the face of Houston. And I think, like I said, he was going to say any comment, whatever he had to do to kind of just ease himself out of that situation and get traded. Obviously, the easiest way is to make sure you're not liked in the locker room to get yourself traded, right? You can't coexist with the other 11 players. We need to get you out of here. I think he accomplished that and he got out. He's out of there now. Now him landing in New Jersey, I think, is hopefully the best situation for himself. I hope him and Durant, like you said, they do have history. Kyrie's there. They got a lot of veterans on that team, and they got a coach with Steve Nash, Steve Nash that understands how to play in those games and be in those games to be able to give him the green light. And you saw his first game, 30 triple-double first game out. So I obviously, if he's it's scary to have him happy. To be honest, with you, playing basketball. because he was doing that, being unhappy. Yeah, now he's happy.
But you know he don't like to pass too. You know he like to do like Steph Curry and shoot from all the way behind the 3-point. Look, he like to shoot at half court. But we'll see how it works out. So first,
that's over time. Yeah, right off the gate, it looks good. It looks real. It looks like it's going to be unstoppable combination in the East. I just believe that but Durant is going to be that even killed guy. I think that when things get tough and he's struggling, Durant will pick up the slack. I think when there's a problem, Durant will be able to overcome it. And the crazy part about it, man, what's so crazy is those three guys and any given night can hit 50 points at will. That's the scary part where I can say, you know what, I don't really feel it tonight, man. You take all the shots. I'm and the crazy part, he can take all the shots and make them all and get his 50 or 60 without no problem. So I think that's a scary dynamic within those three guys. It's going to be interesting to see them play against the Milwaukees. And I think the Heat to get their stuff together in Boston. But right now, and I mean, even over everybody who's Lakers fans, whatever, New Jersey just bumped up. They just inched themselves up a whole nother level if everything works out between those three.
I'm not necessarily a Lakers fan. I am rocking some Kobe gear tonight, though. I'm showing some love and respect for Kobe. I'm not necessarily rocking Lakers for any particular reason. But just showing some love.
On the side note, I don't care who's listening, and my boys know me. I'm a official Laker hater. I can't stand the Lakers, but I'm not one of those guys that just don't like them because they're bandwagon. I have reasonings. I can't stand him because of Robert Horry, what he did to the Kings when he hit that doggone shot.
Oh, yeah, he did. Man, you still remember that too, huh?
Yeah, I'm going to remember that, and I'm going to hate. That's why I hate him. So anybody want to know why I'm a hater?
He did one of those, too, when he hit that. He did the little wave, too. Cowbells were ringing, but he still hit that dagger shot.
Chris Webber's knocked it out, and he hit that doggone three. I've hated him ever since. So if y'all want to know why I'm a hater, that's why I'm a hater. I'll respect him, but I hate.
Horry ain't suited up in 10 years, and you still carrying.
Yeah, still carry that one right there, man. I'm gonna hold that one for a minute.
Yeah, that was tough because that was the shot. That was there was not gonna be any other chance for the Kings to get to that.
To ever get to the shot, get to the ship.
And Horry hit it and waved at y'all. Did the Dame Lillard just waved at everyone.
Yeah, man. Yeah, so it's all good though.
That's crazy. So we got a little football action. Talked a little basketball. I haven't heard too much about. They were having a lot of COVID issues with the NBA this season. I haven't heard anything really popping up special or out of the ordinary this week. But have you heard anything about how folks are faring and taking care of it?
I think the COVID is still out there. We can't be dismissive of it. I think we can kind of start with the obviously high school is a whole different ball game because of the control. But I know college is talking about having the tournament in a bubble. So all the 64, 65 teams will be in a bubble. I think between two stadiums in Indianapolis somewhere. So they'll play their games one half of the bracket to play in one stadium, and the other half of the bracket to play another stadium, and they'll be able to bubble those guys for the whole entire NCAA tournament, which I think is beautiful. Great. We'll get good quality ball. We have the tournament. I'm hoping that we're at a point that they can have the COVID a couple of weeks before, get the vaccine, and be able to play normally where we can get fans and stuff in there a little bit more so than not. But if not, at least NCAA seeing they're going to take that action. Right. I think with the NBA, man, I think it's so difficult with the NBA to monitor some of those players. I mean, you got to think. You got guys that are 22 years old, instant millionaires, between the age of 22 and 26-year-old instant millionaires, and you're asking these guys not to go out and to confine on. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying you shouldn't be smart about it. I'm not saying that at all. But I'm speaking also from a plus 40 guy, plus 40, 45 guy. If I was 20 years old and I had $1 million, I don't think you can tell me too much what I'm going to do and what I'm not going to do, going out and going to party and going to see everything. So, I mean, I think the NBA needs to figure out a line to be able to help those guys maintain themselves, because we are finding those instances where, one player catches COVID and then they're down to only 8 players playing. I think I mentioned this before. Yeah, I think but to me, though, I also think they got to be smarter. And I think a lot of accountability should go on the player. This is what I would propose, and I don't know if I discussed it with you now before. I think what they should do is a rotation system. If you catch COVID while you're participating in the NBA or you break protocol, you should go down to the G League, and they should bring somebody up for the G League for at least 10 days.
Yeah, you mentioned that, and I was shocked by that because I mean I think, but in a good way, because that's an interesting proposal, because I think that'll make it real for a lot of these guys. That,
Yep.
you're making this some serious money to play this game. We ask you to do 2 or 3 little things to make sure that you're safe and your team's safe and everyone around you is safe. You break those rules. Well, look, but I could
There's
take
consequences.
away $5,000 from you, but you probably got that in your wallet with you right now. So let
Mm-hmm.
me send you down 2 or 3 levels and bring some more humility in you.
Exactly.
And see what it's like now, because now we're not playing with this. Now this is serious, because you no longer on CBS Sports or Fox
Yep.
Sports. You on C-SPAN.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
you on PBS this week because you chose not to listen to us.
Yeah. I think it'll bring some not only humility. I think taking away that paycheck for 2 weeks, 10 days, and letting somebody else get an opportunity to shine at the next level, or get an opportunity to play and get into the rotation and play. I think it'll be great for the NBA. I think it'll be a great lesson learned. I think it'll be great for the G League. To have some players going, and I think it'd be great for everybody. And now don't get me wrong, if somebody caught it, naturally, that's different. They just happen to catch it going through the airport or whatever, however they get it. That's something different. But I'm talking about guys that break protocol and go out and do their own thing and going to these clubs and doing all that thing. Slap those guys in the face, man. That way the NBA doesn't lose any games. They don't have to forfeit any games. Bring some guys from the G League, the test negative. Let them get in there and play. At least the games keep going. We don't miss it. We still have our season, and it keeps going. And I think that will set a precedence with guys like, you really want to break rules and do things bad in our league? Look, we have a mechanism now to shoot you down there, just like baseball does. If you do bad in baseball and they don't like what you're doing, they take you down to the minor leagues.
Back to AA, AAA pony. Look, mess up one time and gone.
Yeah. So why
playing in the Cactus League? You mess up one time.
You ride the bus for 7 hours instead of catching that private jet.
You don't get that limo.
God, so I think if they did something like that, just to kind of like, we also let the Players Association know, hey, we mean business when we tell you guys not to do X, Y, and Z. Mm-hmm. And I think if they did that, I think that'll kind of like I said, that'll start to show some more accountability. That'll make some of these guys mature a lot faster. And like I said, it'll give new guys opportunity to showcase their talent at the highest level.
I love it, man. We'll see. I mean, those are I think, the things that all the competition committees, the rules committees will be talking about during the off season for all the sports, right? Mm-hmm. Again, just trying to deal with, and I'm kind of tired of saying this, the new normal, but, dealing with the things that we got to deal with now. And I think they'll come up with creative ways to keep fans safe, players safe, coach, everyone that's in the building safe. I think I even saw that they had the most players the most fans at the game today. I think it was the Kansas City game, right? Than they've had all season, mm-hmm. right? Mm-hmm. With the COVID protocols, right? So they've been able to screen folks, spread folks around out, and things like that. So starting to get to the point where we're getting to some normalcy. I still mm-hmm. Still need everybody to go out there and go and get that shot in the arm when you get a chance. Do the research, but we recommending that you do that. I'm gonna put that out there. But once we get past that, we still need to wear the mask for a little while, but still do that. Just be safe, and if you choose to not listen, like you say, Montell, there's got to be some consequences for folks who choose.
Yeah. I just think we got to take, like you said, we want to get back to what we deem is going to be normal, what we want to be normal. We have to follow some type of protocol and some of those actions. And like you said, I'm gonna tell you, I think me personally, the shots, everyone's gonna have to get the shot eventually. This is something that's gonna have to be done.
I told everybody last night in this house, I said everybody in this house will getting shots.
Yeah, we just gotta we waiting a little bit to see how everything turns out, but everybody gotta get this shot. So
no question, y'all getting shots in this house.
So when the shots take care and we figure we back at a certain place, I think we still, like you said, we have to follow the initial protocols. We got to figure things out. We got to make sure everything works. And then I think sports will become back to normal. But before sports become back normal, man, everyday life has to become back normal. Yeah. We still, just because we see sports and, we applaud sports and these guys, we think about, man, there's still people out there, man, life is not normal at all. People that live in it that don't have access to get to these hospitals, that won't have access to get to these shots right away. They'll be the last on the totem pole. People that got family with all this sickness. Let's not forget that there's still people in these hospitals. These hospitals are at maximum capacity. We got to deal with life before we can deal with sports.
That's true.
I mean, and we got to. I mean, in California, just getting our kids back to school is going to be a challenge.
Exactly.
We got to get our kids back just to going to everyday school. And I know we talked about it again. Let us play. That's a big thing. They want kids to play because of the mental health, and they want kids to get back to some type of normalcy in their life to be able to compete in sports. But again, we got to get kids just back in school in the seats, man, in front of a teacher, and feel safe. And I'm tired of the argument. Me personally, I'm tired of the argument. Oh, kids don't get sick. They won't be sick about it. They're fine. It shows the research that they don't get sick. I get they won't get sick, but they can be asymptomatic. That means they can still spread it. And since they don't get sick, doesn't mean their parents won't get sick. Doesn't mean their grandmother won't sick. Doesn't mean their uncle or auntie doesn't get sick. And if we're dealing with certain cultures, and I mean, Latinos, Polynesians, for example, they live with generations. A lot of them live with generations of family. They live with their grandmother in the house. They live with their aunt and uncle in the house. So can you imagine a young man, just because he wants to play football, or just because you as a coach want them to go play football, is asymptomatic and comes back and spreads this to his family and something happens? I mean, for as much as and I'm in it, man. Trust me, my son is a senior. I want him to play football. I really would love for him to have a season, but not at the expense of somebody's life. And I'm not talking about his life. His life is going to be fine. He's young. He's strong. He's going to get over it. But I'm saying, what at the expense of my son catches it and brings it home to my wife, or brings it home to his grandmother? Are you guys going to be shouting that same thing? Let us play at that point. When
it hits you at your house, right?
Yes,
when it directly relates to you. Because let me tell you something. And me and my wife get emails from my son's school multiple times a week.
Mm-hmm.
Do positive COVID tests at the school, either student or instructor, and they've got to quarantine for X number of days. So it's out there, it's running rampant. Yeah, we had the situations, with all the gathering holidays, right? The Halloween, the Thanksgiving, the New Year's, the Christmas, all that. And folks didn't want to pay attention, and now it's starting to trickle out there that folks are starting to get infected.
Yep.
And you got different variants that are popping up, especially here in our state right now. You got this more aggressive strain. So I agree with everything that you're saying there, man. Right? I mean, there has to be some adherence to some of these guidelines to make sure that we can all get over this finish line.
And what's funny? It's funny because I was discussing the other day. I think the cause is right. Let us play, because I do believe kids should be competing in sports and be able to actually play. But I mean, we got to also, and I understand they say they want to follow protocol, but protocol right now, I don't think that's been fully figured out. Not in the team sport like football, or not in a lot of these team sports. What is the full protocol for them to participate in a sport, especially when you travel to somewhere else? Because just because you follow protocol or you do something that you deem that is right doesn't mean the team that you're playing against has that same thing, or those same parents you're going to be around have that same thing. I do believe that needs to be definitive. Now, I will point the finger at CIF. Me personally, I'll point it at CIF, and I'm talking about California only. For everybody out there, California, that's the California Interscholastic Federation for all the sports in the state. I pointed to them because I think they should have took a strong stance on when sports would either happen or not happen, and quit moving the needle. I think more people are so frustrated with them moving the needle than there are with them taking a stand. If they would have taken a stand and said, you know what, we are definitely going to have sports on February, no matter COVID or not, we're going to go with it, and we'll follow protocol, and we'll go strong. People will say, okay, fine, we accept that. Or if you say, you know what, we're not having any sports. Unfortunately, guys, 2021, there will be no sports, and they should have announced this a long time ago. Then people could have found themselves options to play other sports or for their kids to participate in sports, whether it be club or go out of state or something like that.
Yeah.
I think that's where more of the frustration sets in. But I think we got to understand this thing is real. And and it's funny because I just had a young man that's a football player at Cal that I know. He has COVID. He was like, COVID's no joke. And I'm like, wow, you caught it. He's like, yeah, I caught it, and I'm going through it right now. It's not what people. It's not no joke. So I'm not understanding. Sometimes the high school mindset is like, or these people's mindset is like, if the NFL can't really figure it out, and they have billions of dollars, college, again, multi-billion-dollar industry, they can't really figure it out. High school, who's always in the red, you're telling me all of a sudden you have the answers in California to be able to figure this out and do it protocol ways where people won't get sick and we can have football. I just wish we would kind of take a step back and not just think about that portion of it. We need to think about the whole overall portion before we start really pushing the agenda about letting them play.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, and I don't want people to give me misconceptions. I do want them to play. I really do. I wish there was a way that we can get all the kids out there and play. But I also believe we need to acknowledge that there is a lot of risk in doing this and making this happen.
I tell you what, I mean, if I'm gonna see if I can get you an action item, and if that gentleman would be interested in coming on and talking about his experiences of going through the diagnosis, going through whatever protocol, and if he's able to and if he's willing to, that'd be a great conversation to have for the audience. Again, someone who from the sports world, someone who has now been affected as well, and what he's doing now, kind of these next steps. I mean, that would be an interesting story. I think that I'd love to hear tell. So
I'll reach out to him definitely. Yeah,
you'd have messed around and got some homework here tonight, guys.
Nah, man. I mean, it's so much going on in our state, man. With everything, and I think LA is the highest death count now, with almost 1 million people passing away from this disease.
That's not a great number to have. No one wants that record, but that's
no one wants that record, man, and no one. And I want everybody, if they can, they were talking, the let us play matter, and I know we're going off on high school sports. Sorry, everybody, but I mean, I think the coach from Crenshaw High School, he had an interesting article in the LA Times where he was saying that he has a lot more to worry about than let us play.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of summary of his article. He's like, I have a lot more to worry. I got to worry about, my kids being to have internet to do their homework. I have to worry about food on the table for these kids. I have to worry about, their parents getting sick. I got to worry about everything and all the stuff that's going on besides, just letting us get on the field. And I thought it was a real interesting article coming from a coach, that's in, in a fluid, mixed cultural community, saying, you know what, I want to play football, but that's like the last thing on my mind. And I think a lot of people are scared to speak out against the let's play movement because they don't want to be ostracized by all the coaches that want us to play. But again, he sees a bigger picture. And I really like the article. It's in the LA Times. I can't think of the coach's name, but it's from Crenshaw High School. If anybody want, Google it. It was a real interesting article about him saying that. And I believe he was right. He's dead on. I mean, some communities, some places have to worry a lot more than about just letting us play, because if something does happen, if there's something that, if the risk really outweighs the opportunity at that point, because the risk of something happening could be devastating to one of those kids or one of those families, more so than someone that has the money could afford. If their kid gets sick, they can isolate them in a room and be on with it and keep life moving. So it's got some interesting dynamics with everything going on. There you go. Yeah.
Look, all you gotta do is say the word. I can do a quick little search. Look, you don't see the hands moving behind the curtains, but here goes the article here in the LA Times. Coach Robert Garrett talking about that. So I'll put a link to this article in the show notes on YouTube, so folks can check this out.
Absolutely, man. Great article. It's short but sweet for guys that don't. But I mean, he really talks about how his community is being affected by COVID, and like he said, there's a lot of things that are a little bit more important than let us play movement right now. And I think he's going. And me personally, I think he's going to catch a lot of slack from it. But I applaud the brother for even talking about it, especially on a big platform like LA Times.
Hey, sometimes you got to have those uncomfortable conversations with folks, right?
Yep, absolutely.
Let me see, brother. So we got into it with some COVID there, but again, we talked the social impact of sport.
Yes.
So we'll talk about the game. We'll talk about the sport, the score, and everything. We'll make fun of my Steelers for falling off this season. We'll talk about, oh my goodness, Brady is doing his thing. It's 30-20 right now.
Man,
tail end of the fourth.
And that might be. I mean, speaking of that game, this might be Drew Brees' last game. He's talking about possibly retirement in this game.
Steve, so going back to those types of things, this could be that swan song, because you got Brees and you got Brady. I mean, how many times can these two Titans go out there and do it? It's like when Peyton was out there with them, right? I mean, this could be the last time he walks off of that field there. So,
yeah, absolutely.
Football, society, politics. Let's roll all of those up into one. Coach Belichick was supposed to get the Medal of Freedom last week from 45. I won't say his name.
I hear you.
Coach Belichick said, "You know what? I humbly decline that. I mean, that's the award for any civilian to get from the highest office. Man, people." try to get that for look. You can't just get that, right?
Yeah.
That's the one, right? That's kind of the one. And Coach Belichick said, you know what? Even though the owner of my team, Robert Kraft, is a big supporter of 45, I being Coach Belichick may have some ties and some relations and some things with whatever the case may be. But you know what? After a certain point of time, you 45 changed, or we've fallen out of kilter, out of alignment, and even this great distinction, this great honor, I'm going to have to humbly decline. What do you think about that?
I think it's warranted. I mean, I think he sees. Let's be honest with you. Bill Belichick represents something bigger than himself by being the head coach of the New England Patriots.
Yes,
he represents those 54 men, and I'm talking about the guys on practice squad as well. Those 54 men, he represents them every time he goes out there. And let's be honest with you, at least 70% of men of color that's on this team.
Mm-hmm.
So what a slap on the face would that be if he went to accept that award from someone that's talking this racism talk, or talking stuff, a lot of racist talk, or really pro whatever he's being. I think that Bill Belichick saw that and decided, I don't want to be a part of that right now, not under his reign. I believe it was the best thing for him to say in during football. And if I'm not mistaken, Bill Belichick was also a supporter of Kaepernick's situation. I don't think he ever was against it. I think he was okay with it.
Right.
Going there.
Yeah.
I think he was okay with it, and I believe that just shows what kind of person he is.
And which is tough for him, I think, right? Because again, you got someone like the owner of the team, Kraft, who is
an avid supporter of
at Mar-a-Lago playing golf, who gets caught up in his own little situation. Kraft got caught up in some things too, right? Having some folks at his house doing some things. But Belichick, right? He's standing in there. He's the guy in front of the team. Those men tell him, do your job. We believe in process. We believe in team. There's no eyes here. And he's saying, look, I can't do this because, again, I got someone like a Cam Newton, as boisterous as he is, right? As flamboyant, the big hats and the Stacey Adams shoes, whatever, right? You got those types of folks that are looking at me for leadership.
Yep.
So right. What would it have been if Belichick had gone up there and smiled and got that medal? He would not have been in. He wouldn't have been to go back to his own locker room.
I think you get a backlash, and now you people start to lose respect for you because you went that way. I mean, Belichick, like I said, is a representative of his team. His team is a majority of color, people of color, whether it be Latino, Black, Polynesian, Filipino, so on and so on. He represents those men in that locker room. He has to be able to show leadership in that locker room. How I'm going to show leadership when somebody I feel that I've been oppressed against?
Yeah,
you can't. You can't, because now we're not in a situation where you can force me to do anything. I'm either willing to follow you or I'm not willing to follow you. And at this point, if you do something, I'm not willing to follow you. I don't want to be a part of what you're doing or what you stand for. And then now that dissolves the whole moral fiber team. Now it's different with the owner, Mr. Kraft, because he's not on the field with them every day, and they can distinguish, that's my paycheck, that's the person that's paying me, but this is the person that's leading me. I don't mind accepting my paycheck from him. If he's gonna cut me $1 million check, I'll go ahead and gladly take that from him, and he can believe whatever he wants to believe. But the person I'm gonna choose to lead and play for me, there's got to be something different there. You know what I mean?
That's true.
So I think he did the right thing. He did the right thing, obviously. And I applaud him. 10 times over. I think he's probably one of the greatest coaches ever to play football. So he sees the bigger picture. And the guys, man, he wears his, even though he doesn't have very many facial expressions and he don't very smile very much, the dude's a mad genius when it comes to the X's and O's.
I bet Belichick is just, look, behind the scenes, behind the camera, I bet he's just the life of the party, though. I'm sure he can't be that stone cold in the face all the time. I'm sure he's got to have some personality, or again, he wouldn't be able to resonate with the folks for so long that it does. Yeah, he could be a hard nose. Coach Cowher was always yelling and spitting and cursing and everything. Everyone respected him. So, and I honestly think the same thing with Belichick. He's what he is on camera, right? He's up there, very stone faced, barely answering questions at press meetings, but get him in the locker room, not around the cameras. Get him out there on the field. He commands the respect, and it resonates with his players for long periods. Because again, you can look at someone like a Brady who grew up with Belichick, has now taken that same mentality over to Tampa Bay, and is now probably taking them to the divisional championship game.
Yep. And it's funny that you say that, because I was talking.
I think it is going to happen because there's 1 minute left in the game, and they're still up by 10. So, but it's not over till it's 0-0. So
it's funny you say that, because you see Brady's mannerisms now as a quarterback kind of the same as Belichick. He's very calm, but when it comes to a time to showing respect, you'll see Brady get in someone's tail or get somebody's butt. I think Belichick's the same way. He will get in your butt if you do something wrong. He will get on you until you get it right, and he will make sure you get it right, or you won't be playing for him. I mean, you got to think this man's coached the Randy Mosses of the world who couldn't make it in the system, the Chad Ochocinco's who couldn't make it in his system.
Now you got
and those
wasn't who's the other dude? Randy Moss, Ochocinco was out the league for a while. Kept training, wanting to get back into the league. Wide out. He played for the Niners. Terrell Owens.
Oh, did Owens play for New England? I don't think Owens made it to New England. No, I don't think he made it to New England. He made it to Buffalo. He didn't play for New England.
That's right. Okay. But those types of folks. Yeah.
But I mean, Ochocinco, Hall of Famer. Eventually be a Hall of Famer. You got Randy Moss, who is a Hall of Famer, arguably the best receiver in the league. And he had a hard time struggling in Belichick's offense.
Yep.
I think he only made it there for 2 years. They made it to one Super Bowl, but then after that, he released him. You got to go. Where you have to be, he's very commanding of what he does in his craft, which is okay, because that's how he gets everyone's respect. He turns guys that, the Edelmans and the Wes Welkers of the world, who normally probably wouldn't play as much, to superstars, in his offense. He made Gronkowski a superstar.
Yes.
He made, unfortunately, I don't want to say it here in Hernandez, he made him a superstar, based on his situation, but he made him a star. I mean, the guy was able to create guys
he found something about each of these individual players. They got the talent to make it to the league, and found a way of just exploiting that talent, that capability. Put him in there and just let him run some quick slants. Right?
And the crazy part, he gives guys chances. I mean, Danny Woodhead from Chattering State, Division II, went there, had a great career in New England. He gives guys those underdog, hardworking guys a chance. Let's be honest. Brady wasn't a superstar at the University of Michigan. Brady was not a superstar.
Yeah, Brady can't run. Well, he couldn't. His 40 time was a little high. That's true.
Yeah. But
Gronk was dropping passes tonight. But they got that W. They got that W.
I'm saying. Yeah, Brady wasn't a superstar in Michigan. He wasn't a superstar when he first got to New England. He had to back up Bledsoe.
Yeah.
Finally found his rhythm, understood the system, and then he took over, and now he's become the great person he is. But that's all because of Belichick. Belichick believed something in him, saw something in him, gave him, taught him the system, and then he just grew with him as to become, one of the greatest or one of the greatest quarterbacks ever to play football.
And I think the life lesson and all that, and I always kind of bring it back to that, because again, we're talking about the social impact of sports, not just the sports scores thing, but respect the process, respect the grind of what you got to get done, right? You've got these playbooks. They're not just there for you to use them as coffee table ornaments, right? I mean, sit there, go through your playbooks, understand that, look at the film, right? You always hear about these cats, especially the superstars, right? The ones that are leading the charge, always on the grind. They're in the gym early. Gym doesn't open until 4:00. They there at 3:30, right? Waiting for them to come with the keys to open it up. They're the last ones to leave. Put in that work so you can excel, because that innate God-given skill is going to get you so far. You still got to show up every single day to excel above that, and that's the only way. Because again, everybody on every single professional sports team is amazing. Right?
I'll
take 3% right there, right?
I'll take it 1%. In your profession, period, you need to do that. Whatever you do.
Exactly.
That's a skill. That's a skill that should transcend over anything you do in life. If you want to be a family man, you need to be the best family man. You need to do your research, understand what it takes to be a good dad, understand what it takes to be able to raise a wonderful family. You need to be that in every aspect of life. I think that's what we're talking about. What separates the good from the great. The great prepare and listen and learn. The good are just athletically talented. There's talent and they learn and listen a little bit. But the great ones, I mean, it was funny. It's funny you said that while you were talking. I was thinking about Westbrook. Westbrook, they got traded to the Wizards. The basketball player. The day he got, this is crazy. The day he got traded, he was in Washington practicing at 6 a.m. that morning. He got on the red eye that night and he didn't go check in the hotel. He didn't go look for a house. He didn't go do it. He went straight there to the gym to be at practice at 6. And they didn't start practice till 8 a.m. He was there at 6 a.m. working on his game, learning this craft, learning the offense there. And people can argue about Westbrook all they want, but he's going to be one of the greatest guards because he's a triple double machine. So he's working on this craft to become one of the greatest. I think that's one of the mindsets that a lot of people need to take in, and take that in every aspect of life. You have to be able to practice and prepare, listen and learn in order to perfect your craft in whatever you're doing. And that's anything. That's anything from to a guy that's on the corner to a guy that's in the corporate America. It's everything. You need to practice, prepare, and learn your craft in order to be the best you can be.
I tell folks that all the time. I said, look, I do not want to be the smartest person in the room. If I'm that person, I'm in the wrong room. Look, I've been in my field for a long time. Got a thick skin. You got to have a thick skin to be in technology and to be in sales and pre-sales. But look, I am always. I walk around with my notebook all the time, right? And I will write down some questions, and I will ask those hard questions to try to again continue to get better, to continue to grow, because that's the only way that you can get better. And share that. Once you don't be that person that holds all that knowledge to yourself, right? Be willing to share that with someone and to just give freely of yourself when you have some knowledge. That's how you can elevate everyone around you. I think that's the real story in all this.
I just believe we guys in general, people in general have to be better at that. I think we're very great at it, and some people aren't so great at it. But at the end of the day, you gotta practice and learn from your craft and learn from others. I don't understand. I want to learn from somebody successful. I don't want to learn somebody that's just. I want to learn from somebody that has more than me, so I can achieve what they're achieving. I want to
hear how you failed and got back up, right? I don't want to hear that you failed and just stay down. Like I want to know how to avoid some of these pitfalls, and by someone who's already gone through some of those pitfalls.
Yeah, and I think, man, I'm gonna tell you right now, all the young people looking at pride is overrated. Please, pride is so overrated. I mean,
that's gonna be the title of the promo that I put out right there.
Pride is overrated. I'm telling you, pride. Don't be afraid to ask that question because you think you're gonna look stupid. That's too much pride in you. Ask that question. Ask how they got to what they got. Ask how they doing. Ask how they got to be great. So you become great. I can't stand when people are so prideful that they don't want to ask that question because they think they're going to look, the term stupid, or they're going to look like they're not smart. Man, that's pride talking to you. Ask that question. Prideful people, every prideful person I probably ever met doesn't have a lot because they're usually bitter.
That's true.
A lot of them are bitter. The most prideful person that you know is probably a bitter person because they don't want to ask. They don't want to reach out their hand. They don't want to extend their hand to either gain or give knowledge. I think that's so overrated. I think you really got to humble yourself, open yourself to learn. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying don't have pride in your culture and all that. That's different. You're supposed to have pride in yourself. Understand? But you shouldn't be so prideful that you're not willing to open yourself to learn or to listen or to give information. It shouldn't be that way. That's why I think. That's why I do that.
Well, we dropping. y'all, I hope y'all better be listening to this because we dropping. Let's get some subscribers. Let's get some likes or whatever the case, because you're not gonna get this anywhere else. God dog it. Let me throw this up here because again, we really trying to blow this up. We trying to provide back to the community. So opportunities are available to either come on screen, be with us. As you saw, I put the link out, so anyone that wanted to be brave enough to get on the screen and chop it up with my man, Mr. Allen, and myself, you can always do that each show. We are going to be becoming more YouTube focused as opposed to other platforms, because again, that's where most of the audience is, and we're going to continue to curate, but we're going to be as available to folks as we possibly can. We have two other topics, but I want to be cognizant, first of all, of your time, and I think one of these topics is timeless. So I want to save that topic until next week. And
Okay.
I want to ask you this week, kind of as a final closing conversation about, and this one may be the most controversial one, right? Hiring in the NFL now, right? Opportunities for top level positions, not just OC, not just DC, not just running back coaches, but we talk about the head coach. Urban Meyer. A lot of folks went out and interviewed for a lot of positions. A lot of folks got let go, relieved. A lot of folks in the headline got fired. And one thing that you made particularly clear in a post, I think you did either on Facebook or Instagram, you made real clear distinction to some of the coaches that got let go, relieved of duty, parted ways, versus the coaches that got fired.
Yeah, that terminology, fired, is an authoritative, coming from an authoritative standpoint, and let go or mutual agreed separation, that comes from in a mutual agreement kind of situation. It's not authoritative. It's like we came to a common ground and we left. I think, and I'm not blaming the owners. That wasn't on ESPN. ESPN's Twitter had posted those things and said, hey, the African American coaches were fired, and the white coaches that were let go, Caucasian coaches that let go, they had parted ways. They came to a mutual agreement. One, like I said, one is coming from a point of authority, and one is coming from a point where it was a mutual separation. I think that's wrong. I think if you're going to report on any level of the same action, it should be the same. Both should be either fired or both should be let go, or you should say they all had a mutual agreement to let go.
Because words matter, right? And words matter. And we really see those types of things. And again, when you make that distinction, kind of like Corey is saying, right? Those are facts. But when you say someone was just let go, relieved of duty, or we decided to go separate ways, okay, you can go find something else anywhere else you want. But when we say, brother, you've been fired from your position, wow. I mean, that brings a lot of weight, a lot more connotation. So talk to us about your feelings about, because a lot of coaches got interviewed for. The first one that's been filled is Jacksonville. But your boy Urban Meyer.
I'm disappointed. And not to knock Urban Meyer. He's a great coach. I'm glad Urban Meyer is hiring a lot of African Americans on his staff. But Eric Bieniemy, to me, obviously is probably the most qualified person for a head coaching job in NFL, and then Brian Leftwich comes right after him. And neither one of these guys seem to be going to get hired for any one of the positions. I think the NFL, in my opinion, we can work for them, we can do everything for them, but they don't want us to lead their teams. Just like we don't have any black owners in the NFL. They don't want us to be a part of that for whatever reason. I think that's going to change over time. I do, because we're slowly but cracking. We have a black GM at Detroit, and they're starting to recognize that there's things there. But I mean, there's things in all races and all that. I believe, and I truly believe, you should hire who's the best qualified candidate for your job, especially if you hire who you feel is the best qualified. But I'm finding it very hard to believe that the interim coach Raheem that was in Atlanta is not qualified after he took over the job. They at least went 500 with limited skills. You can't tell me Eric Bieniemy, who's probably going to who's went to a Super Bowl and might have a chance to go back-to-back Super Bowl, when I have an opportunity to get a head coaching job. Brian Leftwich, who's been a great offensive coordinator, is not going to get a chance to get a head coaching job. I don't know why our jobs when it comes to us are so limited, and they give these other jobs that have been historically bad or Caucasian coaches that haven't proven to win all these other opportunities. I love the 49ers defensive coordinator. I'm glad he's a Muslim, and I'm glad he got the head coaching job at the Jets. I think that's a great hire, and I thought that was a great hire. But again, I'm not understanding why Bieniemy and those guys weren't considered for that job. And I'm not in the boardroom. I don't know. I don't know all the ins and outs. I'm looking at it from the outside in. It could be more to it that I'm missing, but it doesn't seem that way. And that trickles all the way down to college and high school as well.
Yeah.
In college, there's not a lot of African American head coaches. It's not. You got some HBCUs and the power fives. It's very few. Matter of fact, there may be only like 2 or 3, and that's amazing to me. Like, we have all these athletes that you're coaching that are African American and Polynesian and Latino and so on and so on, but yet you won't allow us to lead them in battle going on the field. And I don't want to use that terminology for war people, but I mean going in to compete. I don't understand, and it trickles down to high school. I don't know about where other communities, but if you look at the grander scale, inner city schools may hire some African American coaches and Latino coaches and Polynesian coaches, but you go out the greater stream of places, most of those head coaches are white, even in the high school realm. So I'm not. It's something. It's something that's really there, and it's not. It's not. It is systematic, Corey. It's systematic, and I don't know. I don't have the answers how to break it. I don't. Yeah. I really don't. I don't know how to break it. I don't know how to crack it. I don't even know how to make them see something different. Except that if we start to see something different and talk about it more, so I do believe there needs to be
That's
more.
Right.
Yeah. Open conversation about it, definitely, and address the elephant in the room. We got to quit ducking the elephant in the room and say something about it. I do believe they're doing more so in the NFL now, saying it. But I mean, I don't know if you noticed it, but I've noticed it. Eric Bieniemy's talks have died down. He was the hottest thing going in probably week 12. Everybody, he's going to be the next head coach. All of a sudden, it's gone away. Here what do you say?
Here we go with the government. Yeah.
I ain't saying government, man, but I'm just saying, you know what I'm saying, Corey. I'm just saying.
At the end of the day, though, I think you're right. You talk about the fact that, how do we make these conversations known, and that is by having these conversations, by having these awkward, kind of uncomfortable types of conversations. Like you mentioned, we're not in those rooms, but perception carries a lot of weight, right? Because what we see is, again, we can be out there running and sweating and doing all of the things on the field, on the court, on the pitch, on the diamond, wherever the case may be, but we can't be the one drawing up the plays. We can't be the one leading the team from a head coaching position or from a general manager position or even from like an ownership position. Mm-hmm. Why is that? That dialogue does need to happen, and that needs to be a focused conversation. What I do like, so it's happening in bits and pieces. Like what I do like is what like the Florida Marlins did. Derek Jeter brought in Kim Ng. She's the GM. Mm-hmm. Woman, minority, GM for Major League Baseball team. Mm-hmm. Those kinds of things hopefully will have a domino effect in some of these other major sports. Yeah, we've seen some great strides in coordinators and assistant coaches in like the NBA. Pop's got an assistant coach that took over for a couple of weeks ago when he got ejected. That's a good move. I mean, not that he got ejected from the game, but the fact that he's got someone on his squad that can take over. I know I think it's the Niners, right? That they've got some female OCs or DCs or coaches as well. Mm-hmm. Good move, but again, they got the talent out there. What's his name? Welter. One of the coaches' last name is Walter, but she's out there and she's making some big things. These are the folks that definitely have put in some time, need to get that opportunity to at least have that interview. Maybe they are having an interview that we just don't know, but I think we do need to know. I think it would help us to know that someone different is getting a look at, as opposed to hearing about the same old hat folks that are getting jobs. I don't necessarily have a problem with Urban Meyer. He did great. He's got national championships. He's had a couple of things that go on outside of his professional life that didn't look too good. But now here he is, head coach in Jacksonville. He's building his squad, and he's got his team, and he's about to take on that large role. Somebody different needs to start getting those opportunities. It's time.
Let's touch base a little bit on the baseball thing with the Marlins, and I do. Let me just start Corey's own one right now. I hear you.
What is it? He got to leave the barbershop. Man, there you go, brother.
I hear you, Corey. But I mean, there, though, right? Let's talk about like the Marlins thing. Like, and I applaud them hiring a woman and I believe she's a minority woman too, as the way to be GM. I think that's great. And I know baseball is a large Afro-Latino market, very big. I'm saying my question is, why are we hiring? Why are we looking at males as well? You know, males coming in that well, Afro Latino males to be able to manage the market, to be able to understand and navigate that. Nothing to take away from her. I'm glad she's gonna open up a lot of doors for a lot of people. But I'm saying, why aren't other teams doing that? That also looking for GMs or managers,
Yeah. No, I agree.
and going with other sports. I mean, I'm so happy for women making this stride. But when are we as African American males going to be able to get the same opportunity to run the same race and make those strides as well? Because let's be perfectly honest, hiring the woman, and I applaud you. And that just kills two birds with one stone when it comes to the gender as well as the minority buckets on their checklist. You know, and then it does.
It does in reality, but I think Jeter, being the owner, Derek Jeter, I think he's.
I think he's forward thinking. Yeah, I think he's forward thinking. I agree.
I don't think he's looking at having kind of token members on his staff. I think he's actually looking for the right person. So, but I agree with you, right? Yeah, it kind of fills two check boxes by having
So
that high level position. But I think this was done for the right reason, though.
No. I think she's, like I said, I think she's going to open major doors for a lot of people. Mm-hmm. I think she's going to do some amazing things. I think she's going to be able to build a team. But I'm asking, when are Latino coaches going to get an opportunity? When are Black coaches? When are Asian coaches? When are all of us going to get the same chance to run that same race and get in? Because as she's breaking barriers, but I think we should have been broke those barriers a long time ago. Yeah. Me, in my personal opinion, I think we should have been, in an ownership position, or we should have been able to been in those head coaches positions a long time ago, and we're not getting those same chances or opportunities or accolades. And as far as the women in the NFL, I applaud them. I know one of them. I know the one that coaches in Tampa Bay. She's awesome. She knows her X's and O's. She's on top of her stuff like no other. She's very passionate about football, and she knows her stuff. And I think that's great. I think all those doors should be open for everybody. It shouldn't be just, it shouldn't be one concentration. I think right now the hot ticket is concentrating on women and putting them in those positions, and I applaud that. But I mean, we got to figure out where can we get in that same line as well to have the same opportunities. Not necessarily maybe get the job, but definitely have the opportunities to be able to interview and fill those roles as well and show how good we are in those same positions. And I think it's gonna come. Like I said, man, I think the discussions are being there. They're talking about it. It's moving at a snail pace. It's moving at a snail pace. But I just can't believe, back to the NFL, I just can't believe that Byron Leftwich and Eric Bieniemy, guys that gave their body, their soul, everything they've been able to do. You're right. Basketball is the number one sport for inclusion. Yeah, you damn right on that one. Them in baseball. Baseball's doing a pretty good job too, but basketball's number one. But I can't believe, back to Byron Leftwich and Eric Bieniemy, who played the sport professionally, who's been coaching in the leagues all these years, who's done everything, gave blood, sweat, and tears into these organizations in the game, and they're not able to give an opportunity to become a head coach.
Yeah.
Tenure's one thing, but you can't believe in tenure because the Rams coach is 30 some odd years old. He ain't never played it before. He's a head coach.
You messing with McVay now.
I'm not no knock on him, but you know what I'm saying? Don't give me that tenure argument. Don't give me that tenure argument or somebody that has to be in the league to do it. That guy has never played NFL football, and he's never been in the league. His dad coached for years, and they gave him the head coaching job. He's a great coach at doing this thing, but I'm saying, don't slap me with a tenure when you do something like that. Don't give me all these other excuses when you make exceptions for other people to do it, but you won't even give us an opportunity to knock down the door or open the door in order to do it. And I think that's just another black eye on the NFL. It is, man. Since they dropped the ball on the Kaepernick thing, we've been seeing time after time how they just keep dropping the ball when it comes to race issues, racial discrimination issues, or issues that pertain to people of color. They just keep dropping the ball one after the other. And we keep supporting, it. Unfortunately, people keep supporting.
And I think Tallboy, who made a mention, Corey said, make sure you put some props on my name there, because he said don't call him by his government name, but okay, we gonna call him Tallboy.
Oh, Tallboy, I got you. I forgot that was Tallboy, man. That's my man. I'm sorry about that, bro. I couldn't notice in the picture. Yeah, there you go. All right, Tallboy.
Let's have that discussion, because we had a conversation round table with athletes already, right? Talking about kind of the struggles of being an athlete coming up in the league, and then especially the struggles of being kind of a minority athlete coming up in the league, going from amateur to professional. But let's find a way to kind of segment this first, right? Get coaches, coordinators, trainers, whatever. Let's maybe start at the high school level or the amateur level and have that dialogue here, and then kind of elevate that to
Mm,
semi-pro and then pro, and really get their perspective in this forum, because
yep.
we can sit here and Monday morning quarterback it all the time. We can be the sports pundits, and we can ask questions of ourselves in the audience, but bringing someone who literally is in
Yep.
that situation on a day-to-day basis, I think, help us get some perspective and really see how they feel, because
Yep.
they may feel slightly different than we feel about this.
I would love to see through their
You know what I mean?
lens. I want to see something through
Yeah,
somebody else's lens. Absolutely, because my lens is very narrow. It's Montell Allen lens. I
yeah,
want to see somebody else's lens. Definitely, so they can show me a different way, or how's a different way of looking at it.
yeah. So talk to us about this question that you just put out here, Corey. So then why do you support? I don't understand that question. Why do we
He's
support?
saying why since we're having this argument, why do we still support the NFL? I believe, or why we still watch sports when we know all these things are happening within sports. I agree. I mean, I really don't watch the NFL as much as I did before. You catch me every Sunday watching every game. I don't watch it as much. And my fault. I haven't completely boycotted. Colin Kaepernick was going through his thing. I boycotted it before, but I don't have an answer. I really don't.
Yeah,
I should say I don't have an answer. I don't have an excuse why I
yeah.
don't boycott them
I'm
all.
gonna say the same thing with me, right? I did it for a minute,
Mm,
but
yeah.
again, came back and just started and started watching playoffs, started watching championship games, things like that. But haven't been as locked in. But you're right? Because the question that he was making there, stop supporting with ticket sales, hit him in the pocket. I mean, make it hurt, right? Yeah. We can sit here and talk about it all we want to, and say we're not going to do it. But sure enough, right? I had ESPN or I had Fox on a few minutes ago watching the game, making sure I saw what the score, whatever the case would be. So still feeding the machine,
Mm-hmm.
and you're right. We more folks need to step up to the plate and actually say we are not going to support you if you don't make these changes to the system, if you don't give us straight answers as opposed to why there doesn't seem to be any as much equity. Again, when there are certain folks that are out there again running around the field, running around the court, sweating, doing that hard work, but you don't see anyone in the ownership, management, coaching, leadership levels of those teams, brands, sports, whatever the case may be.
Mm-hmm.
That's a question that folks need to start asking. That really is a question we need to start asking.
Yeah, that's a really good question. What do you say? When do
So we do it
yeah.
to us when we don't like a moment. That's boy. My pastor used to say, "Make
Yeah,
it plain." Boy, you bringing up some things there. Like my pastor used to say, make it plain. I like that. Hey, oh boy, you're gonna be on the show next week. Sundays at 6:00. We come to you. Team No Sleep, ladies and gentlemen. Brother Montell, look again. I'm cognizant of your time. You got some folks behind the curtain in your house there that they got they're waiting for you.
oh
You
yeah,
need
man. Yeah.
to put
I'm
the
gonna, I'm gonna
candles
get back to them. I'm gonna get back to
I
them
know
and
you
set
need
up.
to go do that. So
Tall boy, man. I hear you, man. And I mean, I'll be the first.
yeah,
I guess I'll be the first one to admit I'm somewhat of a hypocrite. I guess I can talk the walk, but I ain't walked all the way to walk. On those things. Small businesses though, I try to support. My wife is very advocate about supporting those. So that one I'm a little bit more because it hits more home.
yeah.
But as far as the big juggernaut and the big thing, the big ones, man, I'm guilty as charged. I can't. Our
So
discussions and
next,
more talks
say
about
what?
it.
So next week we'll talk about that one topic that we left off. We'll talk about. I'll ask: are you actually going to watch the Super Bowl? Don't answer it.
Damn.
Don't. Because I don't know. I don't know if your team is playing. I don't know.
Yeah, yeah.
No one's gonna be in the stands. Do you really want to see the weekend perform? I don't answer. We gonna just you're gonna just lay that out there and let that marinate, right? We gonna let
I
that.
got you. I'm with you on that one. Yeah.
Brother Martel, what you
I'm
got,
honest,
man?
brother, man. Tall boy. I'm good. I'm good. I won't tell Toy. Yeah, tall boy. I'm honest, man. I'll shoot from the gut, bro. I'm on me. As far as what I got going on, I got a lot of, my NBA sports thing is going on. Really,
Yes.
connecting with a lot of kids. Trying to go in the power of no when it comes to recruiting. With my Zoom calls called straight from the horse's mouth. I let all student athletes get on the phone call with an actual college coach. Be very transparent with the questions and talk about the reality of recruiting, especially during these COVID times and how it's affecting the class of 2021 and 2022. Also, I'm talking a lot about, still my argument about Division II football in the state of California. I do believe it still needs to be able to come back because there's just, they're cutting off a lot of opportunities for a lot of people by taking it away. I'm not quite sure what other states are able to have it and we're not able to have it. But again, we need to get back just to life with the COVID stuff. We're not back to regular life yet to fight a lot of those battles just yet. Those are just discussions I want to be able to spark, some knowledge about. And then once life kind of starts to get back to normal, the dust kind of settles with the COVID, and we can start to get back to some type of normality. Then I'll hopefully be able to re-involve those discussions and come back and then get some answers.
I love it, brother. I love it, man. Positive. Just doing things, right? Just that's why we no sleep, right? Because we keep it moving.
No,
appreciate you, man.
Absolutely, man. Tall boy, man. Appreciate it. Yeah, man. Tall boy, man. Salute, man. I appreciate you, brother, man. Always keeping us on our toes. I love it. I like that. I can't wait to talk to you next week, man. I know you hold things down in Atlanta.
Yeah, he's gonna be on the show next week. He's gonna be on the show next week. He itching right now. He know he want to come on right now, but I'm gonna make sure that he find a way to get on the show with us next week. So
yeah, man. Let's have my brother, man, on there, man. But James, you have a good one, man. I'm gonna go celebrate my daughter's birthday, continue that, and then we, no sleep. We'll be back next. 7 days, man. We'll be back with 10 toes on the ground and ready to chop it up.
I'm gonna leave it at that. We out.